department has worked with the State Procurement Office to address a number of recurring concerns about the procedures of the Evaluation Committee on the subject above. These procedures are immediately in effect. Please add the attached document to your standard operating procedures manual. If you have any questions, please call Eileen Harada.
So you sent this out September 14, 2006. What was the reoccurring concerns about the procedures of the Evaluation Committee that prompted this letter?
At this moment, I don't recall. Looking at this, I suspect it was something done at the recommendation of staff.
Do you recall what was attached?
I don't recall either.
It's obviously it's saying to address a number of recurring concerns about the procedures. Recurring, it's been happening that prompted you as the ASO to send out this memo. And I've been told by staff that you're one of the division people that look at and read things before you send it out. Now, you've worked with Mr. Kitamura for how long?
Since he started. I'm not sure if he's been there for, what, 7 years?
Is he usually diligent in his work?
Yeah, he's very diligent.
So you would assume that he read through this and was aware of the concern? I mean, that was his memo, not your memo, right?
Oh, I didn't do the cover letter.
So he must have selected the words or had his secretary select the words.
I just know that I discussed it with him, we agreed to do it, and then I went ahead and I drafted it up.
To the best of my recollection, it may have been in response to some issues we were having with some procurement. I would have to concur with my staff to verify that.
We had a lot of RFPs with programs that were doing some fairly complicated RFPs. And so there had been questions about the procedures with regard to evaluation committees.
Exhibit 147. Can you read the title of that?
Request for project proposal procedures. Number 9, based upon the evaluation by the selection committee on the best and final offers, a new ranking will be determined and an offer will be made to the number 1 ranked bidder.
Does this conflict with your belief and practice that you've told us time and time again?
It appears to, yes.
Does this conflict with the advice you gave to the director?
Yes.
And you sent this out on September 14, 2006 to all the division heads and agencies and saying these procedures are immediately in effect? Please add the attached document to your standard operation procedures manual.
All I can say is that I didn't review this as well as I probably should have.
What do you mean you didn't review it? How can you send out something to all your division heads, administrators of agencies, and say the department has worked with the State Procurement Office to address a number of recurring concerns about the procedures of the Evaluation Committee on the subject above? You actually have a basis for why you're sending this out. You sign it, you send it out, and it's clear. Just as Eileen Harada's statement in the pre-conference bid where she says that the award will go to the organization with the highest points. That was very clear. A new ranking will be determined and an offer will be made to the number 1 ranked bidder. Who was the number 1 ranked bidder?
Kohala.
Kohala was the number 1. So there's no argument here. And you don't ever recall this?
Senator, if I had reviewed this document more carefully and understood the number 9, I would have given the director different advice.
Would it be fair to assume that he understood what was being sent out?
I would assume that if he signed it, he was aware of what was going on.
So this evidence shows that this was not the practice. The practice of the department was not that the director could select. Do you know where this document came from?
It was likely generated by my contract staff.
And who directed them to put it together?
Eileen and I likely had a discussion about this. At that point, we decided to send this out.
I have to say I have a very good working relationship with the state procurement specialist. I went through the procedures with them step by step, and I discussed it with Ken Kitamura, and we decided that we would issue a memorandum giving basic steps on how to handle an RFP.
And this was the cover letter to that,
Yes.
basic steps. And Exhibit 147, which follows, is the actual basic steps.
Yes.
And can you read the last one, number 9?
Number 9, based upon the evaluation by the selection committee on the best and final offer, a new ranking will be determined and the offer will be made to the number 1 ranked bidder. I think once we had discussed that we were going to go ahead and do this particular memo, there wasn't a question on whether or not it was going to go out. It was just a matter of completing it and getting it out.
This would have gone out to Maurice.
And Maurice oversaw them. Who does Anna Wentz work for?
Anna worked in John's branch.
And she had this. in her file. Then it should have gone to John. So this is not addressed to her secretary, but she had it in her file. So obviously she got it because her boss probably got it and she filed it.
Probably.
That the conscientiousness of Mr. Kaya as well as John Tatlinger, who was so adamant before this committee on certain issues, that they got this as well, and that it was included as part of the standard operating procedures manual.
Did you cover item 9 in the boot camp?
Yes, I covered this entire mini manual.
Was that distributed at the boot camp?
Yes, it was.
Mr. Tellinger, I believe he represented to us that it was past practice that, of course, the director can't select any of the offers.
I remember Mr. Tatlinger sitting right across from me on the table asking a lot of questions.
Mr. Tellinger or Kitamura, both of whom said that they did claim that they did not know that the procurement reforms included this major change.
The only thing I know is Mr. Tatlinger has sat on a number of selection committees or evaluation committees prior to this. And this is the first one in which he's alleging that the director had the option of making the selection.
There is a procurement manual that you did. What is this, an updated manual?
We had another manual that I had done, I believe, in like 2001, 2002. This was an updated, more user-friendly version of it.
But the fact of the posting, public file, and the fact that the director couldn't select, that didn't change from the old manual to this manual.
No.
How many procurement training sessions did you conduct?
I conducted one, which was one full day in February 2007. I did a boot camp, an overview of all the ASO functions, and I did a mini class for the SID division. We gave hard copies to all the attendees, and we posted it on our website.
Did the director have a copy?
Yes.
Did Mr. Kitamura have a copy?
Yes.
As far as you know, they all had copies of
Yes.
this. So the boot camp, the documentation from Ken Kitamura a month later, and then you wrote this document in February. So within a period of 7 months, there were numerous times that training and information. So if anyone were still working on the old code of 20 years ago, they should have, by at least 06, when this memo from Ken Kitamura went out, should have been corrected.
The code reads, it goes to the number one bidder, or the director has the option of rejecting it in its entirety with some justification for rejecting because of a flaw in the process. It doesn't give you options as far as how you can make the selection.
What happens if the file is not complete when the RFP is posted?
We are technically, I believe, in violation of the rules.
Who made the decision to post?
That was what I was advised to do by my supervisor.
Mr. Kitamura.
And he advised you to, while knowing that the justification letter was not in the file.
Yes.
So keep in mind the posting was 8/13, this is 8/20, and it's an email from Ken to you saying, other than Ted's memo to file providing rationale for H2 energy selection, is the file complete? So a week after it's been posted, he still is aware that it's incomplete.
What kind of time frame are we talking about from the time you first informed Mr. Kitamura that you did not have this required letter until the posting? How many days?
I found out that the award was made to H2 on August 8th, and we posted on the 13th.
So approximately 5 days.
5 days.
When you were told to post, 13th, did you raise the issue again to either Mr. Kitamura or anyone else about the missing document?
I raised the issue with Mr. Kitamura several times, that we needed that justification letter.
When you had first talked to him about it, he said he was going to talk to the director.
Yes.
Did he give you any kind of response?
I believe he had gone to the director's office immediately after I talked to him to try and locate it.
So then the third time that you had talked to him, at the time of posting, had he said that he had met with the director and what the director had said?
He said that just they can't locate it and just go ahead and post.
Okay, so he told you he met with the director, asked the director, and the director said that they could not locate the letter. Is that correct?